up, everybody? Thank you for coming back to another video. So what we're doing today is a book haul. I just happened to have bought a lot of books this month. It just kind of happened that way. So I'm really excited. I'm excited to share those with you, but I'm also excited because my bookshelves are kind of pretty empty. Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on, so I'm just really excited to be filling these bad boys up. Just for context, I have a whole bag a whole bag of books, plus, some more that did not fit in this bag. Let's go ahead and get through these books and talk about them. So the first one that I have here is Done and Dusted. I mean, if you're anywhere in book talk, you know that this is a book talk favorite. I felt like it was just different because it feels really Western. I've never really read anything um like cowboyish, kind of Western, like type of books. I just really love the cover. Then we have A Little Life. This is another book talk favorite. Well, first of all, it's pretty big, but I've also heard really good things about this book. I know that people have literally cried after reading this. So I really wanted to. Anytime somebody says that they've cried after reading a book, you've got my attention. You got me, brother. I am a little scared just because of how big it is, but that's not really the point. I'm just scared because I know that, like, some people have said that it can be a little challenging following the story just because there's like five people narrating in this book, and it kind of, you might get a little lost. So I'm a little bit scared just because of that. Verity by Colleen Hoover. Oh my gosh, Colleen Hoover. Poor lady has retired. Can you imagine having a book adapted into a movie and then, like, 5 minutes later, it all goes up in flames and now you're just retiring from writing? I feel bad. I really do. Yeah, it's gonna feel weird now reading this. I know this is supposed to be a thriller. Then She Was Gone. I actually got this from Marketplace. I was supposed to get a different book that I don't even remember right now, but the lady ended up giving me this by accident, and I saw it and I was like, well, this is not what I wanted. But then it said New York Times bestseller, so I was like, well, maybe, I'll enjoy it more. I mean, everything happens for a reason, right? So I didn't say anything. I just kind of took it. The Devil Wears Scrubs. I got this because it's a Frida McFadden. And this is also supposed to be a thriller. I know not a lot of people like this book. It sounded interesting just because it reminds me of Devil Wears Prada. So, I don't know. I hope it will be good. The Last Thing He Told Me. This is another thriller. All I know is that there's this couple and they're married and they really love each other, and then the husband goes missing. So it's got to be something about the wife trying to find him. Normal People by Sally Rooney. I ended up watching the TV show on Hulu. I liked it. It was a little bit vulgar, a bit too much, which I'm not really a smut girl. I understood why it was kind of important to include it just because it was part of a bigger picture. It was kind of necessary to be able to understand the two protagonists, really, and why they are the way that they are and what they're going through. So I guess I could understand it. I do really hope it's not gonna be as sexual. I'm just really scared it's gonna be extremely sexual, like 365 type of thing. Then we have The Fine Print. I got it thinking that, I mean, obviously, look at it. This looks pretty unique. But when I started to look it up on TikTok, I found that this might not necessarily be something I will enjoy just because I think it has to do with, like, the love interest being a rich person. They kind of write him off as, like, kind of like 50 Shades of Grey, where he's very arrogant and rude and dark. But then this lady comes in his life and he just magically becomes like a golden retriever. I don't really enjoy those books and those stories, so I hope this is not gonna be the same way. Okay, since I finished reading The Nightingale, and that was probably like 2 weeks ago. I absolutely loved it. And I just kind of convinced myself that Kristen Hanna is my new favorite author, even though I only read one book by her. So I went and bought a couple of her books. I have Firefly Lane. I think I saw like a couple of reviews and people were saying that this really made them cry at the end. So I was like, I'll take it. All I know is that it's about two friends in the 1970s, I believe. Apparently, it is on Netflix, so it's gotta be good. The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. And I think this is like post Vietnam War, which I like that she writes her characters around the time of different types of wars and different types of things that have happened in real life. It makes the story more realistic. We also have The Women, and I believe this is about different women that have fought and helped during the Vietnam War. We have We Do Not Part. I'll be completely honest with you. I have read like the description of the book. I am still confused on what this book is about, and I was not gonna get it except for the fact that it said on the cover winner of the Nobel Prize, and the cover for me was really intriguing. I felt like I should get myself a bit more into the romance genre because I have really not read much romance. So I figured, what the hell? Let me get into this romance genre. Everybody's talking about all these romance books and how they absolutely love them. And one of the authors that everybody is consistently talking about is Emily Henry. So I was so excited. I was so pumped up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to read Emily Henry and I'm going to love her. I already know because everybody says so. Was not the case. I was, the meaning of the word bored? I just felt so let down. So I did go ahead and buy these books thinking, yeah, I'm gonna love them. I got Beach Read, and then I got Book Lovers, Famous Last Words. What I know is that it's about a wife and she's married and she has a kid and she's taking her kid to daycare or school or whatever, and she gets a call about hostage situation going on, and guess what? Her husband is involved and she had no idea. So that's definitely new for me. I don't know if there's other books out there with this kind of, plot going on, but this is new. Hostage situation, definitely. Now this book I have seen time and time again, and at first I wasn't really interested because I thought it was, like this regular schmegular young adult fantasy. Then I started to look into it because I kept seeing it. And when I read the description of the book, I was kind of intrigued. I'm not gonna lie. It is Phantasma. And you cannot lie, the cover, pretty dope. Look at this. It's about this girl and she wants to save her sister because of some type of debt that the family owes to somebody. And to do that, she has to go through this like challenge or game, and I'm pretty sure it's called Phantasma. And it's I think it's supposed to be like her going through the seven like rings of hell or something like that, or like they're based on the seven um kind of like the Dante's Inferno, where there's like the seven different ranks of hell. Through the journey, she falls in love with this other guy and whatever. I'm not really interested in that part. I'm just really interested in the fact that it's based. At least I'm assuming it's based on Dante's Inferno. Homeseeking. It's fiction slash fiction leading towards romance. It follows the story of these two lovers. I believe it's based in Taiwan, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I think they fall in love there, and then there's, a war happening, and then I'm assuming they make it out alive. Well, they do make it out alive, but, sometime in between they make it out, and then several decades later, they see each other again in California, and then they probably pick up their love story there. Like I said, I love a good war story. And if you can, you know, war with romance, chef's kiss. because it's like, I love you, but it's dangerous. But we might die tomorrow. But I would die for you. But what are you gonna do if I die? I will never be with anybody else except for you. You know what I'm saying? Mm. The Midnight Library. Again, this is another one that I saw all over Book Talk. I thought it was gonna be boring just because the cover is not all that. And then eventually I looked into it and I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds really good. The Midnight Library, where each book contains an alternate life, a possible world in which she made different choices. Yeah, so it's almost like a different reality. So you might enter somewhere where instead of getting a cat, you got a dog. This is like Marvel Loki or like Marvel Doctor Strange. Now we got a Halloween book. My roommate is a vampire. I read a different book by Jenna Levine. I read My Vampire Plus One or something like that. I like the way she writes. I feel like she made the book really quirky and really fun. Yes, I did. I just didn't enjoy the fact that it felt to me like their relationship was based a lot more on wanting to sleep with each other instead of I'm actually just in love with you as a person. I hope that this will be less of a lustful relationship and more of a loving relationship. Here's another interesting one: Stalking Jack the Ripper. What this book is about is this girl that's obsessed with Jack the Ripper, and I think she goes into she's trying to find out who it is. Have the do over. Yeah. I think this is like young adult romance. I hope I like it. I'm not I'm not really into young adult romance. Okay, my phone died, so I had to charge it and then reposition it. So I hope is kind of where it was before. Now, the last one I have is The Book Thief. It's about World War II. I believe I watched the movie during school. And it wasn't really a time when I spoke good enough English to be able to understand a whole movie in English. So I did have a hard time understanding exactly what was going on. But what I do remember is that it's this girl, I think she might be Jewish. Maybe not. I'm not sure, but all I know is that her mom had to send her away to go live with her aunt or her mom's friend or something like that. She goes and lives with them, and she's just trying to survive living through the wartime. And I think the girl, she's like in love with reading and with books, and I think she goes to like this rich person's house and she steals his books or something like that. At least that's how I remember it, but I'm not exactly sure. Fortunately, because we did finish that movie during class, I kind of know the plot twist that happens at the end. So it's not gonna be as much of a shock moment, but that doesn't, I mean, even though you know how a book is gonna end, that doesn't mean that you're not gonna enjoy reading it. So yeah, that's it. I do, like I've mentioned before, I do prefer to get my books from the library. This is my library shelf. As you can tell, I have a good amount of books. It's kind of unrealistic to buy every single book that you want to read, especially if you're a more avid reader or you read books more frequently, just because that would really drain your bank account. And I don't know if I'm gonna like a book. Kind of like with the Emily Henry ones. Like I bought 3 Emily Henry books and I dislike all 3 of them. So I just prefer to get them from the library. I read it. If I do like it, I can go buy it. And if I don't, I can just return it. And sometimes, you go and you see a book and you just get really excited and you buy it and then hopefully you like it. So that is it. That is it for today. It's been a really fun video to record. I hope to see you on the next video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know. When was your last book haul? How many books did you buy? Where do you like buying your books? And I'll see you on the next video.